So today we're going to do drawing techniques for our little drawing techniques book number 2. Okay, so the first one we did was shapes, just using simple shapes to draw an object. This one is just going to be an easy peasy shading exercise. Okay, so we're going to take this circle and we're going to make it into a sphere. So what you need is a pencil, an eraser, and a sharpener, and your mini book number 2. Okay, so first off, I don't know which side. This one's a little bigger. I'm gonna make kind of a small one so I can make a shadow behind it. All right, so here's a circle, obviously. But of course, what's the difference between a circle and a sphere? It's shading, right? As simple as that. So here's the thing about shading. It's gonna use value. We've got to use the whole range of values from super dark to super light until it's so light that it becomes white. So I always start with picking a light source. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to go with over here because this is my light source. This is where the sun is actually, where the light is actually touching the paper from the window. So I'm going to choose this side to be the brightest and this side to be my shadow side. So when I do that, I always start with the shadow, the dark side. And I do like the darkest values that I can with that pencil. Super black. You know what I mean. As dark as you can without breaking the pencil. And if you go out of the lines, it's cool because we'll just, erase it. Okay, dark. Now, here's the deal. The hard part about this is to not make lines. We're not making stripes. That's not what a real object looks like. In real life, an object, the value gets darker very gradually. So it starts bright on one side and then just slowly blending, gets darker and darker. Now this right here, it's light again because it sticks out and catches the light, right? Okay, but let's focus on the way this looks. So next up, I'm gonna put a little bit, and you see, again, this is just like when I was doing that last drawing demo. Holding your pencil kind of to the side instead of up and down will give you a lot more control of it. So here, I'm going in that dark spot, and I'm making a value that's just, to me, just, I don't know, just a tiny bit lighter. Just a tiny bit. Now, once we get this far, I start to go like this. You can see now my lines are running horizontally instead of along the edge of the curve. I do that because I feel like it just makes it look more realistic to me. And the thing is, the whole time I'm doing this, I am just trying to subtly make it lighter. Not stripes of lightness, right? And right here, you can see this looks too stripy. This dark spot I had. So what I do is I go in and just try to create additional values next to it that give it, I don't know, more of a transition. I don't want any lines because that's not the way that real objects look. This isn't directly a line. This is a subtle transition from light to dark. And then I just keep on. And part of this is just intuitive. And part of it is patience. Stopping, looking, reevaluating, going in again, spreading it out. Also, I'm not going like this. I'm not like making straight lines. I'm trying to make it look rounded still. So I'm trying to make my lines still be reflective of the circle as opposed to going, horizontally like this, straight up and down. It's going to make it look unrealistic. A real object's going to still reflect the light with some predictability based on, what kind of shape it is. And this is a sphere, It's not like a flat circle like a magnet or like a disc or something like that. It's a sphere. So the dark values, probably where most people go wrong is they mostly just put the dark values in and then they kind of don't transition to the light part. Now you could also kind of make it more like a spotlight, you know, where you're like, okay, the light's coming, and I would go ahead and draw the sun so that you can keep in mind, where is that sun? If the sun was right here, then I would have a little bit more shadow down here because it's kind of up. It's not right here, right? And I'm actually trying really hard to keep this circular. But like that. You know, and this spot will end up being really light. This spot right here in the middle. And sometimes the whole secret is being as random as you can. Trying to be less predictable. Trying to be less precise. Because somehow, I don't know if you guys have ever draw stars in the night sky. If they're too perfectly balanced and even and predictable, it looks less realistic. Because that's not the way real life is, right? The more kind of, I don't know, instinctual and random it is, the more real it's going to look. Now, I'm going to go ahead and look at this right here. I don't want that. Stray mark. And this right here needs more transition to me. Hang on, bud. I'm making a video real quick, okay? I'll be done in just a second, I promise. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is the best part, the blending. You think it looks like the moon? Now you can use a, already it's just like popping, right? To blend it even better, to blend this dark stuff over here especially, you can get a paper towel and like roll it up real tight. It's kind of like a paper towel finger. That helps. It gives it more pressure and blends it even more. Now, the other thing is, and this is something you should do on eyeballs in particular, is just kind of put in a little bit of white. And that white spot is kind of like the hot spot. It's like where the sun really touched it the most, where the sun's actually reflecting kind of on it. And so again, you have to, since we don't have a real sphere to look at, you're kind of just guessing as to where you think the lightest spot on the sphere is. And when you blend it in with your finger, it's amazing how much more real it looks, like instantly. A lot of people, when they do an eyeball, they'll do like one tiny little white spot just to show that light source on there, kind of gleaming. Because as we know, eyeballs are actually moist. They're actually wet. So light really, really pops on that one spot on them, right? So anywho, I want everybody to try. Really though, you could do this all day long. I'm like, ooh, I want to make it dark right here. I'm getting it carried away. So you're going to shade a sphere, okay, using a whole set of values, some shading, some smudging, and remember, no heavy lines, really blending. This technique's really going to give your drawings a lot more, it's going to make them look a lot more realistic, which I know a lot of you guys are interested in. So have fun.